click the links to send me stuff that you want me to comment on. Language warning, yes, it might be offensive. I just thought of something funny. What would Mike do if EVS funded Bless This Mess if he bought the rest of the books to give away to his audience? I wonder what would happen. Would Mike send EVS the books? Would he cancel the campaign? Sorry, I just like to cause trouble. So my buddy is a movie expert, and I asked him what Hollywood was going to do in 2020, because it's going to be very, very difficult to make films. He said, rape more kids. Hopefully Weinstein will get Epstein in jail. Hollywood types are degenerates to start with. Then the money associated with films is crazy. But it's actually not just the money, it's the prospect of fame. Women are willing to have sex with a land whale like Weinstein simply for a good role in a film. You give a group of degenerates money and access to women and children, then you get Epstein and Weinstein. They aren't used to getting negative consequences. I hope Weinstein learns a lesson in prison. So, Marvel. Marvel and self-awareness. Is Marvel trolling us? Marvel is special needs bundle of sticks. Daniel Kibblesmith looks like Ethan Van Sciver if he voted for Bernie. Who are you writing comics for? Is your average customer a gay African? If so, great. But I'm guessing your average customer is normal of European or Mexican descent. They want to see characters that represent them. Oh, but we're stunning and brave. No, you're just making something retarded so CBR will cover it. That doesn't mean it will sell. Everyone knows it won't sell. So why are they making this communist propaganda? Do they hate trees that much? Part of it is the obvious propaganda. They really do want to turn your kids gay. But part of it is that they are San Francisco soy boys who are so cum drunk with commie brainwashing that they believe in this cancer. Men don't wear pink. Most adults don't wear pink. Pink is an obnoxious color that 6-year-old girls seem to love. I know gay dudes like hairdresser level of gay. They only go so far as to wear pink highlights. Maybe if they're at Burning Man, maybe they'll wear a pink boa. But in their defense, they're really, really high. They say the left can't meme. Snowflake and Safespace are insults, but we're taking it back. You can't redeem terms like snowflake and safe space because it connects to something negative, being a soy boy pussy. Then when Marvel does an interview with the people behind it and it turns out to be a soy boy pussy. If you want to take back Snowflake, make her a sexy Asian girl with huge jugs. Dress her in something completely impractical and ridiculous because it's a freaking comic book. Have her use throwing stars to remove the heads of Muslim fundamentalists. Instead, you have soy boys writing soy characters. It's like Ben Stiller going full developmentally disabled. What was that movie called? I forget. I probably should have had that ahead of time. Don't go full retard. Look at the characters that these panty sniffers create. Does the reader want to be them? Do they have any admirable traits? They put things up their butts and bravely fight AIDS. Nobody wants to read about characters that put things up their butts, unless it's Eichenwald and Japanese schoolgirls. Our character is non-binary. Nobody cares how you see yourself. People only care about your externals. Your identity is personal to you. We don't know you. We don't even know if we want to know you. Frankly, if you look like this, that's probably a no. Probably a negative on getting to know you. And if you dye your hair pink or teal, then you're almost certainly an alt-left istophobic with Trump derangement syndrome. You are clearly telling the reader that anyone right of center is not welcome. We're really going to own those intolerant magnetards. Well, guess what? Some things shouldn't be tolerated. Cultural Marxist brainwashing children should not be tolerated. I can't say what should happen because they will trebuchet me off of YouTube. Let me just say it involves mimes and adult toys and a lack of lubricant. Snowflake and Safespace are trending on Twitter. People are laughing at them, but apparently the gay kids are mad that you gave the gay characters such stupid names. Even the gays know that you can't redeem Safespace and Snowflake. It means cowards who can't deal with the real world. There's nothing cool about a pussy running away from a discussion. These are the people who turn comments off, and people rightfully laugh at them. If your ideas are so good, then surely they should be able to withstand a little cross-examination. Before I look at the comments, dear God, look at the comments. Congratulations to Cyberfrog. It's probably going to beat Doug Knaple's earlier record of, I don't know, 800,000, a million. I don't know what it got on his first campaign. Okay, so you get 2 gay Africans, a gay Asian, and another gay Asian, and a guy who's a robot. Okay, so I'm guessing this is marketed to America, and that's like less than a fraction of 1% of your audience. But congratulations, I guess. Biggest villain, a guy with eagle powers named Right Wing. Yeah, vigilantism is already illegal. Why is she African in this picture and Asian in the next picture? Is that her superpower? Changing race? Stan Lee isn't rolling in his grave. He's spinning. I can't wait for the new Wars. Soy boys with the power to transform into prepubescent child. Wife beater? A young boy who accidentally stumbled upon his grandfather's alcohol and now beats a wife in a 10-mile radius. Next hero is going to be Redditor. The power to harass their opponent until their opponent kills themselves. Oh, Zoe Quinn. Zoe Van Valkenburg. Did you guys see that HUD video about... he claims that Skyver is related to Chelsea Van Valkenburg. I mean, really, so what is it? It's not exactly his fault who's related to. I'm sure they're both equally ashamed of each other. Oh, dear God, no. Here's the thing about superheroes. They're usually pretty active. Usually running around. Missing a lot of meals. So, is she supposed to be Asian or African? You got to pick a battle here. Marvel is just doing their part to make sure that 2020 is the worst year yet. Yeah, guaranteed. He looks like I expect him to look. I know you can get in trouble on YouTube. You're not supposed to attack people. So let me just not attack him and say... So, most comic book people, I'll say that all comic book people look like that. Either that or the fat version of that. They look like, EVS, Mark Waid, just, fat, bald, out of shape guys who are completely unfamiliar with the vegetable aisle. That's, half the reason they went into comics is probably because they got, I don't know. I don't know. So they all kind of look like that. But the thing is, you don't have to draw your characters to look like yourself because it's a comic book. It's inspirational, aspirational. As long as we're being stupid, here's a character. Mrs. Gender, a woman who looks and acts like a stereotypical man. She's able to turn into a giant, unstoppable muscle man when she is misgendered as a man. Stunning and brave. Okay, so they put the guy in pink because he's a guy. We need to emasculate him as much as possible. And they put the girl in teal, and they take away her titties because reasons. I don't think anyone is going to be happy with this. This is trending on Twitter, so you can, God. I'll just say that most people involved in comics look like they've paid for sex their entire life. The girl with the magic backpack is basically just an older and fatter Dora the Explorer, and Screen Time's backstory sounds like it was written by a 6-year-old. Mentally, okay, when your hair is that, when you've lost half of the hair and you've got to comb it forward like that, the EVS, the Mark Waid, this guy, shave it, just shave it, own it, shave it. Don't do this comb forward thing. Oh, you look like a cancer victim. I won't say the rest. This seems like the thing a guy named Kibblesmith would make. That poor bastard. Marvel tries to cater to groups they see as bullied. Also, Marvel bullies them harder than anyone else ever has. I actually wanted to look at another campaign of someone who's in Comicsgate and do a little criticism of it with the writing of it, but the guy is really, really thin-skinned. But it's already 9 minutes. Most people watch to 5 minutes and dip out, so I think maybe I'll be able to do that. Okay, so I saw this, and I like this guy. He's a funny guy, real straight shooter kind of guy. I know it had some criticisms of the campaign layout, so don't lose your freaking mind. Just the layout. When you got this stuff, these back covers, I guess they're not drawn yet, so you can't put them in there. I think you got to put something in there other than this. This just doesn't look good to have just all the same red backgrounds. Maybe a sample art of their previous work, something. I mean, having it like this looks like you haven't finished fixing this page yet. And I guess the reason this is being underfunded is because the first one is not out yet. But it's like it's at his house, and I guess it's going to be shipped out, or it's on the way to being shipped out. But if people don't have it yet, it kind of hurts. It's going to hurt the sales of this one. So let me just criticize this a little bit, very, very gently. This is the first thing people see. This has got to be as short, succinct, and punchy as possible. You got to read it over, and okay, even writers have editors, right? I wouldn't put something out there without having someone edit it. It doesn't mean you're necessarily going to accept all their edits, but you at least have to get some honest feedback about when to use commas and if the sentence should be a little shorter. And the one way to do this is read it out loud into a camera and listen to it. So some of these paragraphs are just really awkward. Brand Way the Gun is the next 60-page chapter of the Brand saga. Just hours after the events in book 1, David is visited by the sinister Dark Santana and his former mask, Horus. David's life and his relationships are in constant turmoil. That's the first paragraph we're reading, and that's not good. It doesn't grab me. It doesn't jump off the page. It's awkward. Next 60-page chapter of the Brand saga. Okay, so you're just saying it's a continuation. The whole approach, I think, is... God, I hope he's not watching this. This is just in general criticism, is that first page, I would skip that first line. We don't need to know it's a continuation, because you want people to, if they haven't bought the first one, to be able to buy the second one. And because you don't need to read... You can read books out of order, it doesn't matter. So I would skip all that and just say, our hero is visited by the sinister Dark Santana and his former mask, Horus. I don't see... Okay, David is visited by the sinister Dark Santana is good. You've got the protagonist visited by the antagonist. That's good. And his former mask, Horus, I don't know what you're talking about. Most people don't know what you're talking about. David's life and his relationships are in constant turmoil. So that's in the present tense. David's life and his relationships are in constant turmoil. That's an awkward sentence. So far, the one thing I got out of this paragraph is the protagonist is visited by the antagonist. Make it short and punchy. And then we learn more about Dawn and how she fits into the plans of the hustler Fame. Okay. Problems with naming the character Dawn and another character Fame is they have dual meanings. They're not immediately accessible as a name. I mean, you know their names because they're capitalized and whether they're used here, but it's a little awkward. That's a weird sentence. We delve more into her past, her present, and her future as we meet the mysterious Jehovah. Okay, I know that sounded good in your head. I write a lot of stupid shit. It sounds good in my head, and someone needs to look at it and they go, this doesn't really work. And that's just being a writer means having an editor. Having a bunch of people you trust edit things for you. So that's got to be reworked. Anyway, check out Brand Way the Gun, Chapter 2. And, there's some nice titties you got there. And check out Bless This Mess on Kickstarter. Guys, if you want to send me anything, BiancaZombie602 gmail.com, or check my P.O. box, and I will see you all next episode.